Welcome back to Struggle Meals. You're here, you're doing a great job, you're trying to cook for yourself and save money, but still a lot of food gets wasted. We can change that. We should change that. We're gonna change that. Today, we're cooking from root to stem, and that means we're gonna be attacking the leafy greens that you normally threw out, the stems you thought were no good, and a root you probably wouldn't have even thought to cook with. And that's why I'm incorporating them into 3 awesome dishes today. Less waste means more savings and more deliciousness. Let's start cooking up a storm. Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. Welcome to Struggle Meals. Broccoli. It's a delicious vegetable, one of my favorites. But I would wager that you're not making use of the stems, and you know what? The stems are delicious. Today I'm gonna show you how to cook the whole broccoli from the root to the stem. Very simply with the florets, you can just come like this and knock them off, coming around, very nice. Look at them and sort of make sure that these are, about the same thickness. You just investigate. Frankie broccoli, PI. Florets are done. This is normally what you cook, just the florets. But the stems are what drives the price of the broccoli down and gives you more quantity. So you should cook them. They're really tender on the inside. So just a quick peel of the outside of the stem. This will get that toughness that you think you don't like away. And you don't have to be so accurate with it. Just getting that outer thick skin off. Now, really simple. Just make discs that are kind of thin. That's it. And as you get more and more towards the end, you'll see it starts getting tougher and tougher. You can hear this fibrousness. Really, this is the end you probably don't want to eat, but you still shouldn't throw it out. Add it to your stock bucket. It's gonna add flavor to a broth at some point in the future. Waste nothing. Now it's time to chop up the rest of our vegetables because today we're making a stir fry. It's simple, it's delicious, and it's veg heavy. Let's start with this pepper. I like to come right to the side and again. And what I'm left with is the seedy top part. And you guessed it, it goes right into our stock bucket. And we're just gonna go, Nice little pieces. Carrot, take the end off, stock bucket. And I'm gonna go 1, 2. Because the carrot tapers, I wanna figure out a way to make all these pieces the same size. Onion, classic. Firing up our pan. Stir fry is all about high heat and cooked quickly. And that means the oil you choose matters. So we're using a vegetable oil. It can get really, really hot without breaking down. So let's throw the broccoli stems in and let's throw the carrots in. Mincing up some garlic. So look, I'm starting to see a little bit of brown right there. Blistering is happening. This is good. Let's throw the onions and peppers in. Let's throw that garlic in there too now. Salt, pepper. Full blast heat. And make sure that you stir while frying. Stir and fry. Color has happened. That means we can add our florets. They're not really gonna wanna cook. So how do we cook them? Water is the answer. Physics are gonna come into play, and the broccoli, they're gonna steam through. They're gonna be vibrant, they're gonna be wonderful. Make sure you've got a cover for this ready to go. Anything to keep that steam in there. 2 to 3 minutes max. Let's make a dressing for this. Start off with peanut butter. Fatty, rich, and luxurious texture. Rice wine vinegar, about 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. To the packet drawer for some soy sauce. See if I can do 3 at once here. Yes! Achievement! We need a little bit of sweetness. How about some honey? Packet drawer. Coming in with some honey and red pepper. Mix it around. Try to homogenize. This is looking a little thick to me, so I'm thinking just a touch of water. Use your ingenuity. Go with what you feel. Much better. Let's check on our broccoli. Look at that. It is steamed. We could pull a broccoli out and try it right now, and then we'd know if it's done. The other thing we can do with a paring knife is we can just say, how easily does it go into the stem? And the answer is very, very easily. We are finished. Let's get the stir fry into the peanut sauce. Fresh scallions on top are delicious. Got some peanuts, but how about some cilantro? It is growing in my garden, and why not take advantage of this free flavor, especially if it's fresh? The stems give a little bit of texture, the leaves have the flavor. So let's plate this up. We got some rice here. Rice is delicious. You take a small bowl, put a little bit of oil in the small bowl, move that oil all around. Let's fill it up with our rice. Boom, boom, boom. Take our plate, put it on top of our rice, flip it over, pray to the rice gods. Very nice. And now we can come in with our stir fry all around the outside like this. Crunchy peanuts, let's make it rain. Some scallions, pop of freshness, and cilantro. There it is. A vegetable stir fry. It comes in at $1.74 by my math, but the real savings here is that we used the entire broccoli. Stems are delicious. They just need a little bit of treatment in this case. A peeling, a thin slice, and cooking at the beginning. And I'm gonna dig in. You know what? I'm gonna have a stem. Here's a stem. Simple, delicious, and no waste, because we cooked from the top to the bottom. We used the whole thing. But this isn't the only vegetable that we can cook from root to stem. No, they all have roots. Let me show you another. Breaking down whole vegetables can be a lot less intimidating when you've got some knife skills. So let me throw you some tips. First, stabilize your cutting board. Place a damp kitchen towel or a paper towel underneath your cutting board, and that'll prevent slippage. Next, let's get a grip on the knife. Pinch the blade, wrap your 3 fingers around the handle. This is nice and stable. The next most important thing is our other hand. It's the middle finger here. We actually want it in contact with the blade at all times. Fingers back, knuckle protruded. And know that the sweet spot is much closer to the handle, not this end. Here's a great way to think about it. I call it the choo-choo train rolling technique. Piggy's driving the train, and he needs to back this thing up. My hand, it's literally attached to the wheel, and the blade is the drive shaft. We're going in reverse, okay? So the hand is making a circular motion, and the blade is in contact with the board at all times. All aboard, Piggy! Let's put it into action. So you want the left hand to feed the knife hand. Now let's step it up a notch. Round items can get away from you on the board. What you want to do is give them a flat edge. Cut right through the pole. Now they're as stable as our boards. The guide finger still matters. That's where the precision comes. You can see the knife is running along my finger every single time. When I come to the apex of the onion like this, I want to flip it over. So the blade is going away from me. Now let's dice an onion. We're gonna use the tip. Always coming out with the knife and then back into the finger like that. And now we can strike through. Boom, 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 boom. Flip it over, stable edge. And finally, every single time you strike through food, ask yourself, if I slip, will I cut myself? The answer should be no every single time. If the answer is yes, change how you're about to make the cut. Now go forth and chop vegetables. Practice, practice, practice. We are gonna make a warm beet salad. We got your standard beet, we got your golden beet. Obviously, these are the roots, but look at the stem up here. Look at all these leaves. We can saute this down and treat it like Swiss chard. This can literally be the salad with pieces of beet on the inside. We're gonna roast them. All the flavors are gonna be intensified and forced back into the middle. It's gonna be fantastic, and it's super easy. So let's prep them. Like that, and we're gonna save these, boom, just like this. We got all our beets. And here is the technique. The beets are on the foil. We bring up some sides, hit it with a little bit of olive oil right on top. This helps the salt stick a little bit, and some pepper. Into the oven, 35, 45 minutes. The beets came out of the oven. Now I'm just gonna quickly chop up an onion so it can sit in a little bit of vinegar. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Let's heat up the pan. We're gonna get 4 packets of butter in there. These butters are gonna be the creamiest little base for our beet greens. Look at how much of this we have. But because they cook down into nothingness, just like spinach, I thought we'd fill them out with a little bit of Swiss chard. We're having the amount of Swiss chard and filling out the rest with beet tops. I'm gonna cook the ends first, just a little saute, so you can come up to here. Let's do that for all of them, including the Swiss chard. Let's throw these in. A little bit of salt, a little pepper. I'm finding the fattest leaf I have, stacking some other guys inside. Let's roll it up like a big old fat cigar, and now we can cut. And these can go right in. Let's keep an eye on this, and we'll see how much this cooks down. Let's get to the beets. All right, the skin is still on. They are cooked. There was a time in my life when I peeled 50 beets a day. The peeler was messy, it took forever. What I came up with was this. Take beet, put beet in rag, and literally just do this. And that is the peeled beet. Here's a red one, beet in rag, and you just use the friction of the rag, and it'll come right off. It's definitely gonna dye your rag, but maybe you have a rag just for beets. It's a tool. Even using the rag, my hands have gotten a little bit red. It's not a big deal, but the cutting board, a wood one like this, it will be dyed. If you're into those colors, that's cool, but I'm gonna go with plastic. I'm gonna start with the yellow ones, and let's get some wedges. 1, 2, 3. How about this guy, the red one? Oh, baby. Beets are all done. Let's finish this salad. Some olive oil, earthy, delicious, flavorful. Some salt, pepper. Even though the beets are naturally sweet, I'm thinking a little honey might be nice. Oh, very good. Whisk this up. Let's dress our greens. Look at how much they've cooked down. It's like crazy. Dressing it around. All right, let's throw some beets in there. One of this. Let's get some of these golden boys. Got a little bit of goat cheese. It's gonna get all the colors of the beets really, really pretty. Throw a little bit of seed in there also, pumpkin seeds. We're gonna put a little avocado on there. You twist it around, falls apart. You give it one nice boop and a turn. Boom, boom. Coming in with a spoon, and it all just falls out. Let's plate this up. Very dressed, highly acidic, nice and creamy. Let's get a little bit of avocado on there. Some of our golden beets happening. Fresh, cool. A little bit of the goat cheese. Now, doesn't this just pop the whole thing? The contrast of color gets like totally insane right now. And some seeds, because I got them. So let's get a beautiful golden beet. I'm just gonna put it in my mouth for a second while I get the other stuff. Okay, we got onion, we got a little bit of greens, very nice. Balance, people. That's what that's got. Balance. This dish is $2.15 a plate. That's not a lot of money. But the true savings come into the theme of today's entire episode. We use the root of the beet. Yeah, everyone does. But we also use the greens. Nobody uses that. It's free flavor, and it's the perfect supporting thing to put under the root. The greens are supporting the root. And I got another root to stem dish that I'm gonna show you. It's from one of the most pedestrian of all vegetables. You eat it all the time. I bet you didn't even know it had a root. But first, a challenge. Now it's time for a struggle challenge. Hey Frankie, what are some things that I could do with herb stems and citrus peels? It feels so wasteful to always throw them away. It is wasteful. You should eat them. They're edible. Let's see what else you've got in your fridge and make something wonderful. Oh, vodka. Yep, that is definitely Russian water. American water, sugar, oil, vegetable. We got citrus peels, half of a grapefruit, some lemon, lemon peels, butter, cilantro and basil, garlic. This is definitely not gonna make a meal. We can make lemonade, and we'll make a little simple syrup, and we can throw some basil in the lemonade. We'll take these citrus bits, put it in the vodka, shake it up, and we'll have a lemon-orange vodka. Pretty cool. Are you trying to make me clarify some kind of a butter with flavors in it or something? Garlic butter? Herb butter. Let's do that. We're gonna make a garlic shallot herb butter. Let's start doing it. Let's make some garlic confit. Little shallot happen. I'm going in with some vegetable oil here. I'm gonna use a fair bit. Coming in with the shallot, garlic. I'm just gonna run the knife through it twice, no biggie. Here we go, garlic going in. Make some angle happen, make sure everything's submerged. Something needs to help me out here. Nice. So this way, the garlic will get super brown, but not crispy. It'll become soft, and that means it should be as spreadable as the butter once it sets into it. So that's what confit means. Now, we have herbs, and we're gonna use the stems also. They're almost gonna be like chives on the inside. It's gonna look really nice. Do not neglect the stems. Let's get some wrap of plastique. I'm gonna make a log of butter. L-O-B, log of butter. I'm gonna flatten it out a little bit. Now, we will spread the herbs. Let's get some garlic and shallot confit. Drain it of the oil. Coming in with the garlic, coming all over. I think it would be easier if I mixed this in a bowl, so put it in a bowl. Mix it up real good. Obviously, you need room temp butter for this. Okay, now we'll roll it out. So now we're just looking for some consistency in the log. So you gotta fold it over. You gotta kind of squeeze. Okay, we got a log. We're gonna reset this in the fridge or the freezer, and there's no better way to use your herb stems, truthfully. We got the vodka, we got the citrus. I'm just gonna make them a little smaller, throw them in. Ooh, vodka is super strong, and it's gonna extract all that delicious citrusness from these citrus peels. So, I'm gonna let this sit for like 48 hours, and then I'm gonna just run it through a little sieve, and then I'll have flavored vodka without any bits. That's it. Okay, simple syrup and a basil lemonade. As the name implies, simple syrup is very simple to make. Just equal parts sugar and water. So I'm gonna use almost all this water. And I'm gonna pour in all the sugar. Lemonade, despite what you think, doesn't really have that much lemon in it. It's like 10% lemon, 10% simple syrup, 80% water. So let's squeeze this lemon right into this jar, and let's add the lemon peels in there. So we've got a lemon simple syrup. Let's get these beautiful basil leaves. All right, these stems are going in the simple syrup too. And so I wait for the simple syrup to become one. Two parts that were once separate, they are coming together as one. Pulling my peels and my stems out. Here we go. Here's our simple syrup. It's going right into this jar. Very nice. Oh, I happen to have some left over. Let's pour it on our lemonade. I'm gonna slam some slapped basil in there. Do this, seriously. Smell it, slap it, and then smell it. It wakes up. I kid you not. We'll pour water over the rest of it. All right, we've got a basil lemonade with a citrus simple syrup. That's a 10. Let's see what happened to that butter. It has firmed up a little. Let's just cut right through the plastic here. Look at the little confit garlic in the middle. There it is. Herb butter. Fatty, herby. There it is, roasted garlicky. Now, let's see how that vodka is. It smells citrusy. I'll just try a little bit. You can actually see that the color has happened. I mean, I'm gonna ideally let this sit for 2 days, up to a week or something, but let's see what just happened in like an hour. Definitely citrusy. And you know what? If I wanted to make a cocktail out of it and sweeten it up, I've got this citrus simple syrup. I could do that too. Let's rate all of them. Visually, this is very, very nice on the counter. I like it a lot. I call it a 9. Visually, very, very beautiful when I cut into this. I give that a 9 too. Simple syrup, this one's got a little tinge of yellow to it. I think that looks pretty cool. So let's give that a 9. Oh, and the lemonade that it made is just divine. It really is. I'm gonna go with a 10. We got a 9 on looks. We got a 10 on flavor. That's a 19, that's a 95%. That's a really good score. And who would have thought it? Normally we throw those citrus peels out and all those herb stems out, but they are packed with flavor. And extracting that flavor is really, really easy. When you add some heat, it's also really easy when you add alcohol, because alcohol extracts flavor. So thank you for that struggle challenge. Don't throw things away. Get creative. Store this stuff. You're gonna be happy and your other dishes are gonna be better. For our final recipe, we are gonna be cooking with this root. It's wonderful, it's light and airy. Think of it like a very light potato. But where does it come from? It's celery. Celery root and celery stalks. And that means that we can cook this from root through the stalk and have the leaves. Variety of flavor and texture. We get to use the whole thing. It's gonna make celery so much cooler than it's ever been before. We really got 3 parts here. We've got our root, we've got our celeries, and then we have all of our celery leaves. Pick them off, make a little celery leaf pile. Today we're gonna make a soup and we're gonna use all 3 parts of the celery. We got our leaves, we got our root, and we got our stems. We could come in with a peeler, but this is pretty dense. So I think, maybe you wanna try it with the knife, and that way you'll actually get more stock bucket end pieces. Those are going in the stock bucket. Just chop it in half, but make sure you got a good handle on the knife. And ask yourself, if I slip, will I cut myself? The answer needs to be no. Fire, some packet raw butter, nice and creamy. Olive oil, a little bit. If this were a special on a menu, I don't know if I'd eat it. Celery soup, it doesn't sound so sexy, but it is. So maybe we should start thinking about a different name for it. I'm gonna start coming up with ideas. Tonight it's a special, we're having a root soup. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Could be so many things. Throw in some garlic in. Little salt. I don't know what the deal is with the celery, but it seems like she's always playing second fiddle. Well, today, these 2 bits which come from the same plant, they're gonna be the #1 star. Putting some thyme in there, just pulling the opposite way. Celery propers in. Find the prettiest leaves we have for the garnish, and we're gonna add some chicken stock. And that means that it is time to drop the stock. High pass filter, low pass filter. All I need to do is let this simmer until everything is soft. I'm gonna take a piece of celery root here, make sure it's soft. It's very soft. Oh, and it's very delicious. And that means it's time to blend it up. It's time to add a little bit of cream. Cream of root soup. That'll make this special go. I'm gonna stir that around. Okay, so look at that. It's nice and thick. Ladies, gentlemen, today we have a cream of root soup as a special. It is garnished with celery leaves. Throw some leaves on top. Here it is. Oh, What a special. Extraordinary. This soup is awesome! And it's only costing me $2.26. And it uses all of the celery. We never get to do that. We're always looking at the middle. The spectrum of celery is larger. There's a root and there's leaves. Get down with it. It's good for the planet and it's good for your wallet. Today's episode was all about cooking from root to stem. What I want to drill home is that most of the vegetable is edible, but somewhere along the path of writing recipes, society told us that those bits are unwanted. I think some of the best foods in history have been made from the unwanted bits, and today I proved that with vegetables. Broccoli florets, they're delicious, but you know what's even more delicious? The tender stalks once they're peeled and sauteed. Beets, of course the beet is fantastic, but the greens can be sauteed into a lovely salad that supports them. And celery, they've got leaves and a root. And when those work together with what we know is celery, celery can be a star ingredient. So start cooking root to stem, get creative, and have some dishes that are unexpected and delicious. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. Mira asks, how to best store broccoli heads? I'm making broccoli soup from the stems, but the heads won't be eaten for another few days. How do I keep them fresh? It's a great question. First of all, welcome to the Eat It All Club, where we try to reduce food waste and thus save money one broccoli stem at a time. Remember, broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable. It's very, very hardy, so usually the crisper drawer in your fridge is enough to keep it lasting another 5 days or so. However, if you feel like it, you could quickly blanch the broccoli heads in boiling water and then shock them in ice, store them in the fridge, and now you've got broccoli heads that are gonna last 5 days, but even better, they're ready in a pinch. So you can add them to anything. You can add them to your lunch on the go. You can add them to a dish that's already made because they're already cooked.